Today's video is a reaction to a video posted by Anton Daniels titled, "On Your Way to Getting Rich, Work on Your Character." Brothers, nonsense like this is the reason why guys who want to be a real man, have a loving family, and become wealthy cannot spend too much time listening to men that are 80s babies. See, they grew up in a culture where there were not many fathers in the home, so they lacked the wisdom and knowledge of real men. Now, Anton grew up in a home with two parents, but if you listen to his mother, he was that type of kid that you couldn't tell him anything. Anton is selling you the false hope of becoming rich and telling you to work on your character. This way, if you don't get rich by listening to his bullshit, then it's your fault. The thing he's not telling you is you don't get true character unless you pass through several trials and tests. All right, let's talk about it. Brothers, I have to say it bluntly, okay? A lot of guys on YouTube that present you can get rich or women ain't shit content, they are bottom feeders. They feed or make money off guys who live around the bottom rung of the economic ladder. And they feed off of guys who really want to come up, but they pull you down by taking the cash that you need to come up and give you little or no value for it. They take your super chat donations, but they never give you a hand up.
The problem is that these women are wild beasts.
It's
I'm just kidding, but I'm also serious.
They give you ammunition to talk shit about women, but their content does not give you the information on how to identify a good woman. Will watching 100 hours of their content help you get what you really want, which is to have the love and respect of a good woman with whom you can raise a family and build wealth? If you're like attorney Dennis Sperling, or you have a career where you're making good money, you might get lucky and find a good woman in a YouTuber's social media group. However, for the rest of you guys, simply watching hours and hours of you can be rich and women ain't shit content is going to keep you right where you are. No love and no money. Freak and fraud got outed because they were not actually the men that they claimed to be. They were not living the life or having the success with women sexually that they were claiming. And I think the next guy that's going to be outed is Anton Daniels. And I say this because he says a lot of things that appear to conflict with the personality that he's trying to present. You guys don't catch it because you haven't been on the planet long enough to quickly pick up on this kind of bullshit. Now, I have been in the grown man development business for nearly 40 years. Two of the essential elements of being a grown man, as opposed to being just an adult male, are character and integrity. Now, I'm an expert at teaching men how to build character, and I'm also an expert at identifying when a man's character has deficiencies. Anton unwittingly reveals that he has character flaws, which also reveal that he might not really be the person that he says he is. He might drop some science on his Patreon channel that more than likely came from books and videos produced by guys like me. However, the majority of the time that he spends on social media is invested in giving you content that does nothing but create chaos and confusion. Brothers, men of good character and men who are actually wealthy, not rich, don't spend their time doing what he does, okay? And that's because Anton appears to be bottom feeding. Now, men of good character help other men rise up from the bottom. They don't take advantage of a man's station or position to make money off of him, but never really help him. Anton says that he doesn't align himself with people of low character, yet he aligns himself with Kay on the Lapeef channel.
That I was telling JR, I said, Kay is impenetrable. Like she out here like the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing about the Hulk is the madder they get, the more toxic and more destructive he becomes. And Kay is very much like the Hulk in that way.
Oh my goodness.
She takes all of these comments and it just does something to her. And she just comes back more and more Hulk smash. The very next show, she brings more ammunition. She brings her earthy friends up here. And so that, in my opinion, that's an example of toxicity exemplified when it comes to Chaos K down there.
Now, I don't know this woman, but just based on the words that come out of her mouth, Kay makes herself appear to be a person of low character. She makes herself look like she has no moral center. And talking to Kate is like trying to nail Jello to the wall. Okay, her words are very shifty, crafty, and she refuses to answer questions directly. And she probably doesn't know this, but her behavior is an indicator of a person who is intellectually dishonest. Intellectual dishonesty is an indicator of low character, okay? And Anton presents himself as a rich guy who is richer and more intelligent than the average cat. Therefore, I don't believe that he is unaware that what Kate does on that show is engage in a type of control, which is actually a form of witchcraft. And based on some of his contents about Kay, I know that he is fully aware that there is something unseemly about what she does.
Look at Anton. Anton's like, this some BS, man.
I'm not even tripping because contract negotiations is coming up, and we gonna. You know me. The first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Exhibit A, and percentages change, but so she can feel however she want to feel.
Yet he contracts or does business with her anyway. And why? It's because he uses her to create chaos and confusion, because he knows that a lot of black people are messy, so they are going to tune in to see that car wreck or reality TV type of chaos and calamity. Proverbs 73:12 says, "Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, and they increase in riches." And Proverbs 23:4 says, "Labor not to be rich, cease from your own wisdom." Brothers, there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy, all right? The English word rich in this context was translated from the Hebrew word nesad, which means to oppress, to hold, or to overtake. It's telling us not to labor to be rich by oppressing, overtaking, or holding other men down. You can get rich by taking advantage of other men, but you can't get wealthy, all right? The riches that you do get will be fleeting, or you will lose it quickly, because you will spend it on things that don't increase in value, like cars and watches. Now, Anton is delivering toxic poison to an audience of majority black people daily that will serve to hold them down, not lift them up. And how much different is doing that than being a drug dealer, okay? Anton, my friend, you can say that black culture is trash, yet you feed the black community with trash. You told the story about how you saw a man in a restaurant stiff the wait staff and then climb into a Bentley. But why can't you see that what you're doing is worse, okay, than stiffing a waitress?
But it seems as though they stiffed the wait staff yesterday, and then they went and jumped in their Bentley truck, you know? And I thought, interesting. This speaks to something that I talk about regularly on this channel, which is character. Just because you have money don't make you high value. Just because you are successful do not make you a person of good character.
You are supposed to be a rich man who is a great guy, but did you have the character to pay what that cat should have tipped? You saw the problem. Did you take action to help the injured party? Or did you just climb into your Porsche and take off? A few dollars wouldn't hurt a rich guy like you, right? So if you did not have the compassion to make that waitstaff whole, what does that say about your character? You saw the problem, Mr. Millionaire. Why didn't you fix it? Now, I know that you didn't pay the man's tip to keep the wait staff from being stiffed, because you would have bragged about it, all right? The truth is, you are more than likely a guy who loves to make money off OPP or other people's problems rather than fix or solve other people's problems, okay? That is why you decided to repeat what you saw a person of low character do on a platform where you make money. And you appear to find every opportunity that you can to make money off people's problems.
Jesus Christ.
And you seem to think that pointing out what someone else of low character did is somehow makes your character appear to be higher. And that may work with these adolescents, brother, who follow you on YouTube, but a real man can see through you and is going to call you out to toe the line. Now, another deceptive way to bolster your personal character, my brothers, you told a story about how a successful guy donated bed-bug-infested furniture to a charity.
And it was this guy, he was really, really wealthy. He was doing really good, and he was looking for some write-offs. He was going to make some donations based off of some furniture and then some other resources that he was going to donate and so on and so forth. And he said, you know, he decided to donate it to a church. He got whatever it is that he needed to get as far as being able to document writing off and, benefiting him from a business perspective, so on and so forth. What the church wind up finding out was that all of the furniture that he donated was infested with bed bugs. Infested with bed bugs.
In order for that furniture to be infested, his whole house had to be infested, right? Now, I wonder why you would characterize a guy whose whole house had to be infested with bed bugs as successful. Successful people work to solve other people's problems rather than pass their problems on to other people. In order to be successful, you must already be successful, okay? And any man who is truly successful would not have donated bug-infested furniture to a charity where it most likely would be used by someone who is struggling financially or in poverty. Now, does your characterization of this man as successful unwittingly reveal something about your character?
Y'all know the fucking rest.
And I think in this case, this is a game where this is where game recognizes game. Therefore, it makes me wonder if you would have done the same thing. And look, brothers, this next statement may seem off the point, but just hang with me for a minute, okay? Because I'm going somewhere with this. Everything that I say and do has a spiritual connection to it, okay? And that is because we are not actually human beings. We are actually spiritual beings having a human experience. If your spirit leaves your body right now, you'll be immediately reduced to a pile of bones and meat. Therefore, in order to know if a man's words and actions are true, you must be able to relate or connect them with spiritual truth. And this is why I always connect my words to the words of the Bible. And this way you'll know that they are truth and not just facts and opinions. Now, if you're one of these ignorant cats who think that the Bible is the white man's book, it's because you have been bamboozled, all right? The Bible contains the truth about Black history. And the reason why you can't find the truth about Black history, my brother, is you let conscious Negroes trick you out of reading that book. If you studied it 4 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 17 years straight like I did, you will know that the Bible is a mathematical code, okay? Every word in the Bible has a numerical value, and you have to know what those numerical values are in order to convert the words into numbers so that you can discover the truth that has been hidden underneath the words that appear on the surface. Now, the Bible was written in code to hide the truth about Black history so that the white men who conquered Black civilizations wouldn't destroy it. Therefore, its truth can be confirmed using math. And just like addition confirms multiplication and multiplication confirms division, there is a math formula that confirms the truth of the words in the Bible. Now, the reason why I bring up the Bible is because Anton reminds me of a man in the Bible named Job. And I believe that Anton Daniels will eventually experience a Job-like calamity. See, the book of Job is in one aspect a pictorial account of Satan's attempt to test a man's character and integrity, and it demonstrates that even the devil's best effort cannot turn a righteous man away from God. But another aspect, the book of Job teaches us that a man's character and integrity are never truly proven until they're tested. All right? And the book of Job serves as a reminder that every man and woman should expect to experience the trials and tests of their character and integrity. And these trials and tests solidify our character, they establish our integrity, and increase our wisdom in the process. They are essentially God's university or institution for higher personal development and learning. And every man has to understand that life is like a university, okay? You don't have to take the classes, brother, but you must pass the test. And just like you cannot go to the next grade in school unless you pass the exams, you cannot move up to the next level in life, love, and be wealthy until you go through the trials and tests of life, okay? You must graduate from these experiences to prepare you to receive a higher degree of wisdom and wealth so that you can remain on the next level, okay? Now, if you don't, you'll either be held back, or if you happen to get pushed up like a pro athlete, you'll eventually fall back. Now, the book of Job also reveals that a man's character and integrity can be observed by watching where he stands in a time of adversity. In Job 1:10, the devil tells God that the only reason Job fears him is because of the protection and prosperity that God has given him. Then Satan challenged God to test Job to see if this is true. He said, "Put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, and he'll curse you to your face." So God said, okay, go ahead and test Job, okay? And see if whether or not he'll stand with me or with you. All right. Now, when we observe Job's character we can see what type of man he was, and we can see why the devil wanted to test his character to determine if he was truly the man that he appeared to be. In chapter 1, verses 1 through 5, God describes Job as a perfect and upright man that feared God and avoided evil. And he was rich, yet unspoiled by his riches, and he ministered like a pastor to his family and friends. Job 4, verses 3 and 4, along with chapter 29, suggests that Job was a respected preacher who ministered the word of God to the community that he lived in. And Job 12:4 indicates that he had also had a reputation of being a man who could actually hear from God. And it seems that his only real problem was that his character and integrity had never been put to test. See, Job's character and integrity needed to be tested because he unwittingly gave Satan authority in his life through witchcraft. And you see, Job was always afraid that he was going to lose all that he had. And in chapter 3, verse 25, he said, "For the thing that I have greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me." And as a result of this fear, he became very superstitious. And brother, superstition is a form of witchcraft. Job started tithing and giving many offerings as a means of avoiding the judgment of God or warding off evil. See, Job didn't realize that he was not worshiping God. He was actually engaging in a type of satanic ritual that strengthened Satan's position of authority in his life. And this is why God told Satan, all that he has is in your power. You see, the word says in 1 Corinthians 5:6 that a little leaven leavens the whole lump. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. And Job's inadvertent practice of witchcraft gave Satan a little authority in his life that authorized him to have power in all or over everything in Job's life. And brothers, if you give the devil a ride, pretty soon he's going to want to drive. If you give the devil an inch of your life, pretty soon he'll become your ruler. Job's own words and actions caused him to realize his greatest fear. And I believe that Anton is a man like Job, and his own words and actions are inviting the attention of Satan. And since he has been talking so much about character, he will have to experience several trials that will test his integrity, which might cause him to lose his family, his possessions, and all of his money. Well, that's all that I have for now. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll be back with something new that nobody told you. Until then, remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you next time on Maximizing Fatherhood.